We continue to hear from the Fed and our mainstream media that our economy is doing great, that our job market is strong, and that we're not in a recession. And Biden even says the economy's strong.
Today, I'm happy to report that the State of the Union and the state of our economy is strong. We learned this morning that the economy has created 517,000 jobs just last month.
Well, if consumers are doing so well, why is it that our credit card debt in the country has surpassed $1 trillion for the first time ever? I'm not sure about these jobs President Biden and others are touting about, but according to the Fed's chart over the last 23 years, comparing the second quarter of 2000 through the second quarter of this year, a full-time employee's median usual weekly real earnings sourced by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that in the last 23 years, pay has only increased about 9.5%, while the median sold home prices have soared over 150% in the same period. Welcome back, and if this is your first time watching my video, I'm Todd Sachs, a real estate broker in Maryland, and I've been serving the real estate industry since 1989. My channel is dedicated to keeping you informed on everything real estate, and I love reading your comments and questions, so please feel free to drop them below. All right, so we're being told that our economy is doing well, our job market is doing well, and, well, heck, everything is doing well. If this is the case, then why are we continuing to provide bailouts to homeowners who need assistance paying their mortgage? In this July 7th press release by the U.S. Department of the Treasury, the Homeowner Assistance Fund, HAF, in the first quarter of 2023 states, HAF data through March 31st, 2023, which demonstrates a substantial increase in assistance to homeowners. As of March 31st, HAF programs made roughly $3.7 billion in payments to more than 318,000 homeowners at risk of foreclosure. In the first quarter of 2023 alone, HAF programs distributed $1.2 billion in assistance to households. This is a 50% increase over the fourth quarter of 2022, demonstrating the program continuing to scale rapidly as designed. Additionally, 14 states and 2 U.S. territories have expended over 50% of their HAF program funds, excluding administrative expenses. Boy, I'd like to know how much these administrative expenses are. So why aren't we hearing about this in mainstream media yet? We're hearing people touting disgusting fake news about the housing market. Rent and be happy, and how housing market can only go up because buyer demand and lack of inventory. If this is the case, guys, we should be putting up more effort into cutting the red tape and building more affordable housing, stat. Or we're going to go broke here in the U.S. paying for people's mortgages who can't afford to keep a roof over their own head. This press release, which I linked below, also states that HAF is a key component to the Biden-Harris administration's efforts to help families across the country remain in their homes, which includes a foreclosure moratorium, increased options for mortgage payment forbearance, and enhanced loan modifications to resolve delinquencies. As many foreclosure protections wound down in early 22, HAF programs stepped in to provide timely assistance informed by earlier housing initiatives. The combination of these programs resulted in historically low foreclosure filings. Wait a minute. These programs have resulted in historically low foreclosure filings? Well, no duh. So let's go ahead and check out some of these statistics in the first quarter report. There were 815,267 applications received for homeowner assistance from January 1 to March 31st, 2023. Wow. And can you believe it? The number of applications submitted grew 16% since the prior quarter, Q4 of 2022. And of the applications submitted, 299,894 of those were approved. And that represents a 26% increase in assistance being provided since the fourth quarter of last year. Now, guys, even more unsettling is the amount of homeowners still needing assistance. And talking about how much money was handed out, just from the homeowners who were approved, the amount of payouts increased 32% since the fourth quarter of 2022. So to summarize here, in the first quarter of 2023, almost 300,000 homeowners were provided assistance to help prevent foreclosures on their home. And now for the reasons that I stated, help to prevent a foreclosure on their home, not preventing foreclosure, is because after serving the housing market through the greatest housing downturn in the United States history since World War II, that being the 2008 crash, I know that struggling homeowners needing mortgage assistance have a hard time maintaining their home. Now, having a home can be a great investment in a normal price appreciation market of, let's just say, 4 to 5% a year annual increases based on how long you actually stay in the home. And what I mean by that, guys, is when I was growing up 30 years ago, our parents stayed in their homes for 30, 40, 50 years. Some people never moved. But now, as we know it, we're looking at houses now for first-time buyers as starter homes, and they're only planning to stay there for, let's say, 3 to 5 years. And for those that experienced the downturn in 2008, for some, it took over 10 years for their home price appreciation to catch up to what they paid in the peak of, let's say, 2006. But getting back to the fact of, a home being an investment is that's as long as you continue to take care of the home, like performing required maintenance, or, if you keep it for 10 or 15 years, like making improvements and renovations to kitchens and bathrooms. And that's not to mention replacing the heating and air system in a home or putting on a new roof. But for a lot of these people that are being bailed out because they can't make their mortgage payment, they're not keeping up with these maintenance items or these improvements to make their home an actual asset or an appreciating investment. And many of the houses that I've seen where people that have struggled to make their mortgages, they let the roof go bad, so it ends up raining inside. Mold starts growing in the basement. They will live in the house so long as it's safe to live there. But the minute that the heating and air system stops working, and we're in the middle of January, and pipes start to break because they can't keep the house heated, a large percentage of these people will just turn in the keys and walk away from their mortgages altogether. So I guess my question here, guys, is, are we doing Americans a service by bailing them out and continually, kicking this can down the road? I know foreclosure is a terrible thing, but when we hear about them bragging about the housing market and letting it run up to be so expensive for the people that want to buy but can't, because we keep bailing out people that can't pay their mortgage, I know it sounds terrible, but for some, it's just going to be inevitable that they lose their home. And for those that, are really looking for a price crash of 50, 60% on houses, guys, the only way we're going to see that is watching these people that are, continually bailed out, not making it, right? Eventually leaving their home in such a distressed state that the only way they'll sell it is to drop by 40 or 50, 60% in home value. But the biggest thing that I want to tell you guys, when we're looking at, a market correction and things like that, if we saw home prices drop even by 20, 25%, this would be really catastrophic for not just banks, but people that wouldn't typically walk away from their mortgages will throw the keys in if, let's say, their $500,000 house is only worth $400,000 today. And that's one of the things that we really saw happen in the 2008 crisis. And people were like, my neighbor's selling their house for $100,000 less than what I paid. I don't want to pay the payment anymore. And so the snowball effect of the struggling economy and people not being able to pay their mortgages, that may not change this type of outcome moving forward. So anyway, guys, I guess, the question is, should we be bailing out people, continually bailing out people in their mortgages? Should the government be involved in this aspect of our lives? Obviously, you're going to have a different opinion if you're one of those that needs the assistance. And there are a lot of those, apparently, over 800,000 applications the first quarter of 23. That's a lot. That's a big number. But really what I think is important is that we're talking about this and that the right message starts to get passed around, and eventually, I don't know whether mainstream media is going to ever talk about this with an election year coming up, but you guys can do something about it by sharing this video. So guys, that's it. If you like the video, you can hit the thumbs up. It'll let me personally know that you did. Help the algorithm share this. Please, like I just mentioned, share it with your family and friends. The share button is below. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please consider doing so now. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Sachs Realty, Maryland broker number 607720, office number 443-318-4514, equal housing opportunity.